Hello, welcome to Ray Recommends. My name is Raymond Antrobus. I've just picked up The Colour of James Brown's Scream by Kayo Chingonyi. Kayo is British Zambian. He's based in London, and this is a collection which is part of the African Poets Generation series. There's a poem in here in 3 parts called Self-Portrait as a Garage MC. Kayo writes about black British culture in a way that's rarely explored in poetry. It quotes Craig David and Nikki S, not Benjamin Zephaniah or Grace Nicholas. And it does that in a way that reminds me that I myself as a poet from the same generation as Kayo and a similar culture in London, that there are things that are specific to the black British experience or the black mixed experience, or your tick box here, have a pulse in poetry. Reading The Colour of James Brown's Scream could give me permission to write about things like Channel U and MTV Bass, to use words like bruv and bait, a language that I'd actually use if I ran into one of my boys from the ends, but I would probably refrain from using if I sat down to write me one of those serious poems. And in that way, Kayo quotes a poet called Sayers Ellis, and the quote goes, "I no longer write white writing, yet white writing won't stop writing me." And that's followed by the first part of a poem called N-Word, which interestingly references Harold Pinter. The poem goes, "You sly devil, lounging in a Pinter script, or pitch from a transit van's rolled down window. My shadow on this unlit road, where you've been smuggled from polite conversation. So when a friend of a friend has you poised on his lips, you are not what he means, no call for bald fists. Though he's only signifying on the sign, making wine from the bad blood of history. Think of how you came into my life that day, of leaves strewn as I had never seen them strewn, knocking me about the head with your dark hands." This is from a section of the book called Calling a Spade, and it riffs off a similar concept which was explored by Gregory Pardlo, a Pulitzer Prize winning poet. He wrote a poetry collection called Digest, where he challenges the representation of black characters canonized in American literature. Black American poetics, I feel, are established in the US in a way that black British poetics aren't established in the UK. And I think the main reason for this is black British poets aren't collaborating. So many of us seem content competing for the same spot on the bookshelf when we should all be in the same bookshop. I do feel like black British poets have a long way to go before establishing their own poetics. But I feel like Kayo Chingonyi is already writing the kind of poetry which will be included on that shelf. And Kayo's books will be next to books like Broken Silence by Jacob Samuel Rose, Telling Tales by Patience Agabi. So do pick up Kayo's book, get down to his next reading. Ray recommends.